Hi guys, we're going to do math a little different today. We're going to do an experiment and see if this works. So thanks for helping me with my experiment. A group of students were on a school bus. How many students were on the bus before the last stop? Use this picture to help you solve the problem. Press pause now and solve. Today, we're going to learn to write and solve an addition equation. Example 1. George had some plastic figures. After he bought 7 more figures, he had 25. How many plastic figures did George have before he bought more? There are 3 things that we can use to help us represent this situation. We can use a balance, a bar diagram, or write an equation. Let's try to work this out. We're going to solve this situation by using a balance at first. So what do we know? We know that George had some plastic figures. I don't have plastic figures, so we're going to use phase 10 blocks. So we know that George had some number of figures. We don't know exactly how many, some number of figures. And then it says after he bought 7 more figures, 7 little phase 10 blocks, we're going to represent figures. He bought 7 more figures. And then it said, then he had 25. So some number and 7 equal 25 figures. My balance balances because some number and 7 equals 25. My number balances. So how are we going to solve using our property of equality to figure out how many figures is the unknown number? Well, I know that we added 7 to this side. So if I take away 7 from one side, I'll just take 7 away from the other side. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My balance balances. My unknown number equals 25 minus 7. Pause the video and figure it out. All right, now we're going to solve this situation using a bar graph. I've already drawn the bar graph. We know that George had some figures. We have no idea how many figures he had. We're going to use n for some unknown number of figures he had. Then we know he added 7 more figures. And then we know he had a total of 25 figures altogether. Using our bar graph, solve the equation, how many figures did George have to start with? Pause the video and solve the problem. All right, the third way we're going to solve is writing an equation. So we know George had some number of figures. We don't know what that is, some number of figures. And then it tells me that he added 7 figures to have a total of 25 figures. We just wrote an equation to solve. How are we going to solve for this unknown number of figures? Inverse relationship. Inverse relationship. Operations that undo each other have an inverse relationship. Subtracting 7 is the inverse of adding 7. We are going to, and we know because of our property of equality, if we do something to one side, we need to do something to the other side. So if I added 7 to one side, inverse relationship will undo adding that 7. But I know because of my property of equality, what I do to one side, I have to do to the other side. Minus 7 minus 7. Well, we know 7 minus 7 is 0. So that leaves me n equals 18. 7 minus 25. George started with 18 figures. Now to check my work really fast, I can substitute my n, which is 18, up here in my equation, because we know n equals 18. 18 plus 7 gives me 25. Great job, guys. With a partner, work through the math tasks, then review the key concepts together and talk about inverse relationships. Then finish your packet. Do you understand? Do you know how? And practice problem solving. Good luck. Hi guys, it's the end of the lesson. Did you like doing math this way? Let me know what you think. Go ahead and log off of your computer now, and good luck writing and solving addition and subtraction equations.